Okay, so in Canada, we're coming up to the 2-year anniversary of legal cannabis. And cannabis has really kind of influenced your career. You've spoken out a lot about it. It's been really relevant in your music. Talk to me about how you feel when you hear that it's legal in different parts of the world.
Oh, that's an amazing feeling. It's bittersweet for me because my father was one of those unsung heroes then, someone who used to smuggle weed away. Yeah, he was trying to make money, but also he was a crazy pothead. And, you know, to know that this substance is now being hailed as something that is very good for you, can help fight against cancer and all of that. Kind of to me is like people like my pops are heroes. You know, he crashed the ganja plane in the Everglades in the early 80s, 83 or 82, I believe. Never been back to the States since, got deported. You know, that's just unfortunate. And then a lot of kids here been into prison and all over the world been into jail just for taking a substance, which in the worst case gives you euphoria and helps me as a creative person while feeling the feeling of euphoria to create more. Not too long ago, a couple years ago, a young kid was smoking and he was 19 years old, I believe, 17, and police stopped him and put him in prison, and maybe because of his attitude, they kept beating him and he passed away. And we don't, you know, we're still trying, there's a case and they're trying to convict the people who were involved. But that's just very unfortunate, you know, because it's something that we're now seeing helps kids with seizures, which is one of the most important things that I think has come from it. We're seeing that it helps to block certain cancer cells from forming, or it anesthetizes them, kills them. We're seeing so much great things. From years back, we know that it helped glaucoma and stuff like that. But just to know that people suffer through very unjust situations. Peter Tosh, one of my musical heroes, he was actually beaten to the point of death about 7 times because of the same thing. And to me, those people are heroes, and each person who got incarcerated just for having a bag of weed. You know, there's problems in life, there's stresses in life. I used to do hotel management in terms of at school, and we had to work long hours for work experience, and it's just hard, you know. So when 420 came, or like when work was done and you could blaze one and feel so relaxed and your mind put at ease, just even for those purposes is such a great thing. And I'm just happy that it's freeing up right now. It's just funny to see the same scientists that told us that we were gonna go crazy on it, and also the politicians that would lock us up are now, you know, legalizing and wanting me to pay a fee to have my own cannabis clinic and stuff like that. It's weird. But yeah, definitely a beautiful time to see this happen though.
So you have a song coming out tomorrow. It's going to be out by the time this video and interview come out. It's called Dream
Yes,
Girl. Tell me about it.
A Dream Girl, you know, is one of these TikTok rhythms that came out and people started dancing to it a lot. And, you know, artists kind of got together and said, let's do that. That's a thing now, you know, rhythms can break, or even songs can break on TikTok. So, yeah, we got together with Earsize, who's from Curacao. They speak a Papiamento language, which is 7 different languages mixed together: German, French, African dialects, English, a lot of things mixed together. So it kind of sounds like what we do in dancehall. We talk patois. So he linked me up and he linked up Davido, and it's a song about Dream Girl, you know, our girl of our dreams. Dope vid, dope song. It's coming out tomorrow.
Tell me about the girl of your dreams.
Well, I married her, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. That's a good answer.
Yeah. you know, sometimes you dream things and they actually come through. So good stuff. Come on.
Do you have TikTok?
I do have a TikTok, but I'm not a person that is very oriented that way. Yeah, I was born in the 70s. You know what I mean? I had one record player with no mixer. and we used to play the record and put it back. I pick and choose my social medias because I really do find that they're not that social, actually, to tell the honest truth. You know, unless you do a live like how we're doing now with the Zoom, you don't socialize much. You just put what's out there that's not real about you, or only the great things. You know what I mean? And as you asked me my first question, how do I feel about the great feeling that cannabis is being legalized? I also said it's bittersweet. I'm real. I like to tell the other half too, and so I'm not a very big social media dude, to tell the truth.
Okay, that's fair. I couldn't really picture you doing the like TikTok dances.
Like we actually did do it. We actually did do the Dream Girl dance. It was funny. Well, I mean, I don't do some of these other ones though. Just walk like an Egyptian style stuff. I don't know what that is. I don't know who makes the choreography up. I don't know if people just watch one person's on and that gets popular and they start to do it. I really don't know what's going on there, but yeah, we tried something. We did a little tribute to that.
That's what happens. People on TikTok just make dances and then other people copy them.
Crazy, because one of my songs is huge. Get Busy is not Get Busy. Is it? Yeah, Get Busy. Shake that thing. They put a whole other rhythm to it, and you know, people moving, shaking their hips and stuff. It's great, but I don't catch choreography that quick, to tell the truth. I'm more of a the rhythm moves me type of dude, and so.
But at least you have rhythm. Like that's good.
Yeah. Rhythm is something I do have, just not choreographed rhythm.
How does it feel? Like so.
Wow. Yeah, gotcha.
How does it feel so long? Like after these songs have been released, they're making an emergence on this totally new platform with totally
That's
different
amazing.
rhythms. It's really cool.
That is amazing. That's something that I didn't see coming. You know, I've always known remixes will exist and people will sample you. That's cool. But for this is something that's really out of the box for me, and a very big positive to the social media thing. So one up for social media.
So I know you've been making music all quarantine. You've been keeping very busy. What do you have planned for 2021? Is it just everything on pause because we don't know what's going to happen, or kind of how are you looking at it?
For me, kind of, I continue to work and continue to get stuff ready to put out stuff every now and then. Since the pandemic here, I've put out one single with a major label with that Island Records who I'm signed with. But with the agreement I have with them, I'm also able to put songs out on my own production and also record for local dancehall producers that are big and prominent. So I think about 4 things have come out since February. One's called Calling on Me with Tove Love, and that's a very meaningful song. It's about family and being there for each other. And that came out, I would say, probably right when the lockdown started to happen, it was pretty cool because it's saying, yo, call on me, Zoom me, you know what I mean? It's kind of saying, stay in touch and I'll be there for you too. Also, I put out a song called Back It Up There, which was a song I produced, a rhythm I built, and also shot the video right before the lockdown. So I was so grateful to have that one and another one called Born Gallus, who is a production from Chimney Records, very prominent producers out here. And those 3 came out along with a video I put out earlier called Big Things. And that was a song I produced also, my production. So that's 4 things. And then a couple other dancehall productions. One called Wicked in Our Bed. One called Bend Your Back. And those came out without videos yet. So I'm looking towards doing those videos. And of course, we just spoke about Dream Girl. So, you know, there's things that that I've put out, and I'm just waiting to see what happens. Again, I think this year is a survival year, especially for me. I have asthma, and I'm not playing with this thing, man. So survival year for me.
Definitely survivor year. You're cleaning everything. I just like have this mental image in my head of you just like.
I'm spraying everything. I spray. I got a little alcohol bottle, and when I do leave the house, when I come back, I'm definitely, I'm spraying my glasses. I'm spraying everything. When I go to the studio, I'm spraying the earphones. I'm spraying the microphone and the puff guard, and spraying up in the AC vent, giving it 15 minutes to kind of cool out. Because you don't know, this enemy is the worst one. You can't see it. So I do treat it like it's everywhere.
That's exactly it. I really wanted to ask you about the dancehall culture. I mean, you've been a part of the culture for so long, and I find that the culture is very quick to label dancehall artists who become successful as sellouts. And I've always wanted to ask you what you think about that.
Yeah, I feel that people, everybody likes to play scrimmage in the backyard, which is a small ball game. And so we go out there and we test each other's skills, and some people are very dope on that level. But you put them in a big stadium, and they probably won't do that well. Reason being, there's a lot more stamina involved. There's a lot more discipline involved. There's a lot more rules involved. So, I tend to think that the people who do make it out of the smaller pond, they are the real gangsters, you know what I mean? So, I'm comfortable in my skin. I know that I played the game here. I did well here. And then I broke international, and I see that there's a lot of people in the world, a lot more people in the world who don't like to see clashing. They want to hear music that makes them feel good. They want to hear music that they can identify with or be educated from or by. And so, I use the 3 L's. I look, listen, and learn. And I be very humble no matter how big I got. And those things are all hard to do in this career, especially because it goes to your head. You know what I mean? It's hard to not be grounded. It's hard to just think that you are the shit. You're the only thing in the world that matters. There's a lot of artists too. So it's important to remember your humanity and how human we all are. And wow. There it is, my human side. Am I upside down or I'm good?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Did I recently read that you said you're not a fan of clashing?
No, not. I mean, I understand the culture. I also loved it when I was a kid. It was exciting to go to the stage show every year. There was one on Boxing Day called Sting, and everybody, it's the hardcore performance. I've actually been on that show 2 times, but I didn't clash anybody because usually it's one big clash at the end of the night that really gets the people up, and the rest of the performers are just hardcore performances. So I was one of those in the early segment of the night. And I understand the clash culture. It comes from a sound system perspective where there was so much sounds out there in the 60s and 70s, and then they started to, have DJs or like MCs that would go on the mic and toast people and then start battling. And I get it. But, the person asked me the question, what about verses? And I was like, I would rather big up Shaggy's music and post it. And I would rather, celebrate younger artists that are coming up and tell people about them instead of be like, he's coming up, I got to clash him and get rid of him early. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd rather build champions other than kill champions, which is what Super Cat used to say. And he's my mentor in the business. He's my father in the business, you know what I mean? And so I take that mindset. He was involved in one of the biggest clashes. And it hurts that relationship. And one thing I see as being the big ball player, the person who has gone international and everybody calls a sellout, is that when these big music execs look at our music, Like they will see a Movado and a Cartel, and they'll go, "Let me see with Movado," and they look at the numbers, and they're like, "It's not enough numbers. It doesn't sell." But that's not true. We're very powerful. It's just that we are divided. We are divided. Half of us say Cartel, half of us say Movado, and there's some in the middle that like the both of them, like myself. But that makes our numbers scattered. And I started to think that's like division. And then I started to think that's like the same thing that happened from hundreds of years ago. People dividing us, and us not being able to tap into our full potential. So with all that being said, I said it. I feel it's like slavery. I feel it's like Django, the movie, where these two guys were fighting, and there's people sitting down watching them smoking and drinking. In concerts, that's what we do. We're smoking, we're drinking, we're having a good time watching these guys battle. And I know battle rap exists also. Like, you know, people say, "What about 8 Mile with Eminem?" And I'm like, yo, even in those battles, they got rules. There's someone moderating, and in Jamaican culture, our thing is very hardcore. It's not just, oh, you know, I got one up on you and I gave you a mama joke. It's like I bust your head open with put your brains on the wall. It's horrible, and especially someone who has grown up to, you know, I grew up in that culture and I liked the excitement of it. But then I've grown up and my own friends have died by gun violence. You know what I mean? I've had to bury them. Because their family couldn't afford to bury them. I had to physically bury my family, like monetarily. Like, and there's many people, I'm not just talking a few. And it started to affect me. And I got a son, a daughter, and I'm trying to teach them the right thing. So every time they do something wrong, I see myself saying, "No, you can't do that, bro. This is the reason why." And so coming to music now, it's kind of like, I don't want to see that no more. I don't want to know my friend got 9 shots and was suffering for air on the ground. And I'm going to go to a dance to enjoy myself and hear people talking about blood spilling everywhere. I don't want to hear it no more. You know what I mean? Of course it will exist. Of course clash culture will continue, I'm sure. But a lot of people have come down on me and been upset. Excuse me, but a lot of people have also linked me and be like, "Yo, that analogy really hit home, bro. That Django thing, like, totally makes sense to me what he said." Because in that scenario, the two people fighting is the two artists clashing on stage, and the guys sitting around with their cognac and they're smoking is us, the crowd, pitting ourselves against each other. And the other day, I posted a video of a artist from the '80s that I rate and I love. And one of my good friends said to me, "Yeah, but he's bad and so-and-so isn't bad like him." And I said, I didn't mention so-and-so. Why can't we just say that this dude is great? Because next week I'm going to post so-and-so too, because he's great also. The divide and rule is very real. It's very much here. And it's part of the reason why pop acts is able to take my dancehall music that I was been a part of building and taking to international circles. And they just, it's their music now. You know what I mean? Without them saying, "This is my dancehall single." You know, when I do make dancehall music oriented with hip hop or with dance music, you know, because it's popular at the time, I always mention that music because I have a respect for the people, the dance music people, the Tiestos, the people like the long hair dude, what's his name again? Steve Aoki. You know what I mean? I have a very fun love for that culture. Also, I love music. And so, you know, if I was to do a country and Western oriented single or just a full country and Western song, I don't think me putting it out with my name, Sean Paul, synonymous with dancehall, and just doing a country and Western single, that Willie Nelson would look at me and be like, "Well, why what you saying that's your music? You should at least big me up and say, this is my country and this is a country and Western single I'm trying." When these pop acts do it, or when other genres that develop like reggaeton just do the music that we've been doing, or the style that we've been doing, and not say, I mean, every reggaeton cat I meet, they pay homage. They're like, yo, bro, what you do and what everyone does in that genre has been our guiding light. You know what I mean? And I respect that. Afrobeat has been influenced by us in the last 10 years. There's no question about it. There's an artist called Stonebwoy. He's straight DJing, just like a dancehall artist. And many over there too. Shatta Wale, which by the way, they just clashed a couple weeks ago. And I had to call Stonebwoy and like be like, yo, bro, no matter what happens on that stage tomorrow, remember that dude is your brother. And he was like, wow. No one said that to me. And I was like, yeah, because I gotta say that. Right now, I'm an elder in the music, and this music has done so much culturally all over the world, where there's so much different music that has sprung up from it, and pop acts, and even grime music. The way they speak sometimes has a lot to do with patois. We see everyone using our thing, but we don't get the accolades. And what I mean by that is, I could tell you a story. When I won my Grammy, it was 2003. I won a Grammy that evening, and I also performed on the Grammys with Sting that evening. And I don't know if you believe this or not, but they didn't have any seats for us.
What?
Me and my crew, I guess we were just seen as the little reggae guy. You know what I mean? And we had to sit outside in the caravan, and I watched Black Eyed Peas walk past me on the red carpet, because I could see the red carpet. I just walked it myself. And they're like, that's your caravan. I'm like, so I don't get to go inside and watch the show. And when it's my time to perform, I have to go in and come back out. They were like, yeah. And I was pissed off. And people were calling me, yo, congrats. How come you're answering your phone? And I was like, you would never believe. I'm outside the fucking Staples Center. You know what I mean? I take that as discrimination. I take that, I mean, when we do win our Grammys, we're not broadcasted live, but everybody in the world is doing our music. So how come we're not enough? How come we don't qualify enough to be on the platform to say, like, you know, we want thank you people who love us. You know, our acceptance speech is never broadcasted. We're always in the back room. And so that day I was like, this is an eye-opener to me, man, because not only was I just the top dancehall kid at the time, or reggae person at the time, it was the top in the world. It was 2003. My songs was banging. Beyonce came for me. You know what I mean? Beyonce came to do work with me. Busta Rhymes was doing work with me. People who you didn't think would turn and look and say, oh, I got to work with this dude. Blue Cantrell, the Clips, you know what I mean? Working with Pharrell. All that stuff happened from 2001 to 2000 to right now, 2020. But in that time, it was just the hottest thing. 2006, I won an American Music Award, and I treasure that award a lot more than the Grammy nowadays, because I was able to go on the stage and say thank you to the world on behalf of my culture, on behalf of reggae and dancehall music, that we got the best pop male vocal over Kanye West, over Justin Timberlake. And the Grammys didn't honor me that way. They gave me a thing which I'm very honored to have, but they didn't honor me. And arguably in 2003 to about 2007, I was the hottest artist on the planet. But then that's just the reggae guy, so don't give him the airtime and just sit him over there on the side. So I felt discriminated before, and you know, I think now I've won my Grammy, I've won my American Music Award, I've won mobile awards. That's in England. I've won multiple awards here in my own country, in my own genre and culture. But I think it's my responsibility to speak up on that matter. That yo, you know, you guys don't remember when R. Kelly and Jay-Z did an album together, and a lot of it was dancehall oriented. Move your body like a snake, man. There's a doom, doom, clap, doom, doom, clap. That's dancehall rhythm. It ain't hip hop. It ain't R&B. You know what I mean? So I don't like calling out people's names, because people then say, "Oh, he's bitter." But so I use R. Kelly now because he's not as big as he was then, right? So let me not call the popular names now, so people come down on me. But also, you know, Missy be turning it down. That rhythm from Timbaland is very oriented to what we was doing in dancehall at the time. So I know the music is close. I know that we all say that, you know, dancehall helped to start hip hop with people like Kool Herc, who was a Jamaican kid who went to the Bronx, started his own sound system, started toasting on the mic, had other people come toasting too, which started people being rappers. You know, so much people in the hip hop game also, you know, Special Ed, Busta Rhymes, Slick Rick, they got Jamaican roots. You know what I mean? Dougie Fresh is from the Caribbean, he's from Barbados, his people. You know what I mean? So there's so much of our culture that seeped into hip hop and seeped into to pop music and all of that. And I'm still gonna get a tent outside to sit down in at the Grammys. You mean the big Staples Center, which you got a lot of filler seats with people just sitting there just to fill up the seat for the camera? You can give me 3 of those seats? And that just proves to me that a lot of even though I'm one of the biggest international artists, Shaggy too, that we are just the little reggae guy, which is unfortunate. You know, for a great superstar and artist of the century like Bob Marley to set this highway for me to walk on. You know, when I say set the highway for me to walk on, he went through a lot of problems breaking the music. You know what I mean? He has an album called Babylon by Bus, and it literally toured on a bus with, there's no bed, there's no amenities, there's no TV, there's no toilet on that bus. He did the whole of the States, and that's the road he paid for me so that I could come now and do that. So I want to be someone to be vocal about this situation and say to the Grammys and say to whoever, like, stop the disrespect. Now, even in the verses that happened the other day, Beanie and Bun Tequila, Beanie Man and Bun Tequila had the most followers that night. Out of any other thing that went on. And then when Billboard magazine printed this versus phenomenon that's happening in this pandemic, they left us out. They put us in the tent outside again, which is just fucked up. Excuse my language, but so we're a small island, but we have a huge culture. People like Marcus Garvey was born here. His brain and his concepts and his motivation to help to motivate a lot more people outside of this country is something that should be revered. And his teachings taught people like Bob Marley, who paved this road for me. And so I'm very passionate about it. I'm sorry I've been talking probably 20 minutes, but yeah, it's an issue for me. It's an issue. You know what I mean? And yeah, and that we still clash ourselves and don't get together like I see hip hop dudes doing. And instead of talking about them boy that is and them boy that, because the only people that understand our language is us. So you're talking about me, rude boy, them boy that. Why don't you say like what Wiz Khalifa said? We them boys, because not Wiz Khalifa. What's his name? Them boy, my G there.
I know, I can hear the song in my head. It's not Wiz.
Yeah, I forget his name now, but French Montana. Yeah. So why not sing like that? Why not collaborate with each other more instead of fight with each other all the time? Yes, it's exciting. Yes, it's good, but we call it pasa pasa. We always spitting pasa pasa at each other. We always, them boys this, these boys ain't bad like me, but we should be like, yo, look at us, we the best. And we are, man. There's so much people who have benefited from what we've done. And then we're gonna kill the next champion coming up here. I'm gonna see a young artist here and be like, I gotta go at him because he's getting all the girls now and he's getting all the money now. And I'm afraid that there's not enough for me left. That's not true. The world is huge. And we need to get together and start controlling the world and start demanding our respect. You know what I mean? And the only way we're gonna be respected is if our numbers are not chopped in half and divided. And if we get together and do collabs that really matter and really make sense in that market. And they're not gonna understand our clash. We even have a song in our culture that says, "War a go on down the lane, but now go down there." So water going down the lane, me nah go down there. So I mean, going down there, it's hot right now. The block is hot. So when it comes to music, there's people that think like that. When they hear Clash, I ain't going down there. I don't want to listen to that. Especially myself, my age group, as I said, having friends who have died from 9 gunshot bullets. I mean, it's not cool to me. So with that being said, I've cussed the international market and the local market because it means something to me. I don't know if doesn't mean nothing to you, but it means something to me that everyone stepped up in this game.
I think the young people in this industry need to hear what you're saying. So I think it's so awesome that you are speaking
Thank
out
you.
on all the platforms that you have, and the fact that you called Stoneboy and said that to him. I think young people in the music industry need people like you to help
I mean,
them.
look at the drill music happening in Chicago. Every time one of those dudes break, they die the next month. It's fucking ridiculous. It brings tears to my eyes, man. It doesn't make sense because this is a blessing. No matter what you say, the record company has us as slaves. Okay, but we're making more money than we used to. And there's one day, 20 years later, Sean Paul's going to build his own label and be able to help. I couldn't do it 20 years ago. I didn't have the money, but now I'm able to do that. And I'm able to help younger cats to develop. You know what I mean? So that's the important big picture for me. So I wish these cats in battle rap, or I don't even call that battle rap, they call it drill music, where it's just straight going after each other. And it's straight, it's death, man. And I don't, to me, music has always been about making a joyful noise unto the Lord. Even when I'm singing about a girl's body, I'm celebrating that the Lord has given me this to appreciate. It's never been tearing down. It's never been like disruptive or destructive. It's always to build up. So, yeah.
Everybody thinks you either lived in Canada or you are from Canada, and I need you to clear this up for us.
Okay. In 1976, my Chinese Jamaican grandfather, who was a doctor, the economy was getting crazy. He had actually been held up a lot in his own office, and he decided he was going to move away. Now, my mom's already a big woman, and she was married and had me. So he left with his family, which was 3 younger siblings that she had, stepchildren, and he went to Canada, 1976. By 78, everybody was up there, all of the rest of the family, except for my mom and her sister and our family. So we've had cousins and aunts and uncles in Scarborough. So I wouldn't say it was every year, but it was once every 4 years. I would go up and spend the whole summer. So 1984, Ghostbusters came out. It was the first time I got to see, stuff like that. We didn't have color TV when I was a kid here. It started early 80s, yeah, but things like, the big cinema and that kind of stuff, and especially, I shouldn't say cinema, but the play parks like Canada's Wonderland and CN, like that shit to me was a world. It was like, wow, we don't have nothing like that in Jamaica. So that was me every couple of years. And then probably when I was like a teenager, it stopped happening. But I always kept in touch with our family, and sometimes they would come home here, and that's it. And then when I started to break, doing music in Jamaica, a very big, I would say, one of the godfathers to me of what happens in hip hop in Canada came and said, yo, bro, he has Jamaican roots too, Cardinal Official. He came and was like, yo, I want you on a single. And I was like, what? And he was one of the first person to pay me. Like, honest to God, I got to praise him for that. He's one of the first persons to pay me $2,000 for a verse on Money Jane. And, that time, that was a lot of money for me. And that started a lot of people thinking that, oh, this is and I was there a lot, thinking that I am from Canada. But I do have Canadian roots. And also I must mention my little brother, who's 5 years younger than me, was born in Canada. Was born in Canada, but he's here. He lives here. And he has dual citizenship. So for those reasons, people would say, "Oh, he's born in Canada." Well, I'm not born in Canada, but I have a very strong connection, and it's the first international place that broke me. As I said, with this record with me and Cardinal, it really turned up a lot of fan base for me, especially in Toronto, and then from there, New York caught on, and everywhere else caught on after that. So big up to Canada. As I like to say, it's my second home, and you know, I have very, very fond memories of it. But no, I didn't ever go to school in Canada. Never really lived there.
When I told my publisher that I was going to be talking to you, his eyes lit up and he was like, "Oh my God, you need to ask him about Gimme the Light." And I was like, "But what do you want me to ask him?" And he was like, "It's just like so awesome. It's just such a part of like smoking culture and weed culture." And so I know it was so long ago for you, but tell me about your like fondest memory, I guess, of like either putting the song together or performing it, or like what you think about when you hear it now.
Ah, that's crazy. This is 20-something years later.
So long.
Yeah, right. So, and it's still a hot song. You know, that just proves the music, because it's not just my voice. It is my voice, but and the lyrics, but that rhythm is just crazy, full of energy. And I remember the producer. He was based out of Miami, a Jamaican kid, but based out of Miami, and he came down, and now I'm trying to charge money for voicing, because like, you know, that's the way I'm getting money, that and stage shows. So he's like, "How much are you gonna charge me to go on the rhythm?" And I was like, $1,000 US. And he's like, "Oh man, I only got 800, right?" And I was like, let me see if, you know. And I was like sitting him out. I was like, and he was about to leave to go back to Miami, and he shouts me like, "Yo," and I'm like, "I really need that 8 bills, man. I'm gonna go." Went to the studio, but at the time I was becoming, I was having a fan base that was more popular with the Latino culture in Manhattan. Like I was being booked every week. I would go there every Thursday and Friday. I'd have a date there, and for months in that year. And so I didn't know what I was gonna sing about, but in Jamaica we weren't busting bottles of Mo, so to speak, at the time. It was, you know, what we do is buy a crate of Guinness and put it on the ground, or a bucket with ice in it. We weren't busting bottles of Mo. It's expensive, man. so so it was something that I just was seeing in these clubs in Manhattan, and I was like, you know what? I don't have no lyrics to spit. I'm gonna talk about that. And as you know, it just came to mind. So freestyling, just give me the light and Pastor Joe busting out a bottle of Mo. I was talking about last weekend. You know what I mean? So just I just thought it was just like something I was gonna make money off of then, and then probably disappear. I have quite a few songs like that, but then it just started to grow and grow, and it wasn't playing in Jamaica at first. It was started to play in Trinidad and in Miami a lot. The producer went back to Miami and started to promote his whole juggling, which had Beanie Man and Mad Cabra and a lot of other people on it. But this one just started to forward. You know what I mean? We in Jamaica, we didn't say dro either. What is dro? A lot of people out here thought I was saying draw, like faster draw, but dro is hydro, and it's what I was getting when I was going to these clubs in Manhattan or even in Miami. So I guess foreigners started to catch on to it, or people in Miami and whatever. But I went to Trinidad and they're like, "You had to sing that song, boy." I was like, "What?" "Yeah, you had to sing that song called Give Me the Light." I was like, I didn't know it was big. They were like, "Yo." I had to go study it back and sing the song that night. And in Trinidad, it was like, woof, a big crowd fucking jumping up and down for the song. The rhythm is like, doom, 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 you know, doom, 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 very fast pace. And it's just like, got you, you know, right away. So then I went to my record company in New York, and I was like, "Yo, this song is breaking in Miami. It's playing on the radio there, and breaking in Trinidad. I need some steam on this. Let's do a vid. And they were like, we don't even know that song. And I had a showcase for them that night. And I was like, I'm gonna show them. So that night I sang it on the stage. And they were like, whoa, from the reaction. And that's when the whole thing started off for me in terms of just becoming, that song just became my real cut through song that came on every platform, everywhere. Everybody started to play it. And to this day, people keep saying, even if they dissing me, Sean, you're losing the light, bro. Yeah, it became synonymous with me. Even people from the church, dear Jesus, they prayed over me. Sean said he wanted the light. Bring him the light. You know what I mean? It was a phenomenon. It's been crazy in my life. Just give me the light, Pastor Joe. So I'm very happy that it's a cultural song for weed. You know, it made my dad proud. And I've had others since, but that one on We Be Burning is probably the biggest ones that I've had. I've had a song called Ganja Breed as well, and a couple others. But those two, and people see me as the weed singer. I don't have many more, like, I don't have every song is not about weed, but yeah, that's a real cool feeling. You know what I mean? So thank you to the people who love it, and to everybody who talks up to one on 420.